Hello, my name's Alison and I'm Head of Professional Development in the Royal Devon and Exeter Hospital. We're a large acute and community foundation trust that provides services to a wide range of patients across a very wide geographical area. I wanted to talk to you for a couple of minutes around our involvement with Debbie Rogers and her company and the support that she's been able to give us to meet the needs of our patients. So initially we first met Debbie, I think it was in autumn 2014, when we were very challenged around our recruitment of Band 5 registered nurses. So we had to look at alternative strategies, and one of those was around overseas recruitment. One of the concerns we had around that was being able to support those nurses from overseas. So initially we were looking at Spain and Portugal and Greece. And within that support, we needed to be ensured that they actually had the skills that they needed around English language to meet the challenging needs they were going to meet on the wards and departments. So we contacted Debbie to see how Debbie would be able to help with the particular needs that we had. Initially, we set up a transition to the NHS programme, of which Debbie was a very valuable part, because what Debbie was able to do through that programme is to work with our new recruits in areas such as groups, for instance, or on a one-to-one basis. So the work that Debbie particularly came along and influenced was around reading and writing and listening and speaking, the 4 areas that you would want people to be proficient in. And through that work, there is actual application to practical examples of things that you need to be able to do as a registered nurse on the ward. So areas that we found there was some difficulty in initially, but then things started to improve with Debbie's support, was things like handover. So where people were having to pass information between different professionals, we found that the ability to do that improved in a more efficient and able way. Through written documentation, so actually being able to fill in the care plans. Through talking to relatives on the telephone, that was a particular obstacle that we found. It seemed to add an extra barrier there with the telephone in there. So we could actually say to Debbie, these are the areas we would like to improve skills in. What are you able to do? So that's where we initially utilised Debbie's services. One of the things that we have found is that needs change, because we've been doing this for a couple of years now. And part of what we found is that actually sometimes in the group work that didn't work as well as on an individual basis. So what we've been able to do with Debbie now is actually tailor-make programmes for people that the ward manager will say, we've noticed this particular difficulty. So Debbie will assess what the needs are and then put in an actual training plan to accommodate that. Feedback from the ward areas has definitely been positive. So we've obviously been doing it alongside other support networks as well. But what we're clearly getting is a message back from service to say we can see an improvement in the communication skills, written and verbal, from these people that we've appointed. So that's got to be a good thing. More recently, we've had new challenges in our approach with new guidance from the Nursing Midwifery Council in relation to IELTS and thinking about the level that people have to achieve. So we spoke to Debbie about this, said this is our issue, what can we do about it? So we're now running a pilot with Debbie where we're actually looking at what would a programme look like to bring in people that haven't got their registration with the NMC but need to achieve their IELTS at level 7 in all 4 areas. So Debbie has been able to come up with a 12-week programme with a regular review built in that will enable us to see, can we get these people to a satisfactory level so they can pass their IELTS and they can become part of our registered workforce, thus addressing the actual recruitment issues we have at the moment. So I think in summary, what I would like to say is we've been on quite a journey with Debbie, but that journey has always been one where we have found Debbie to be very accommodating and flexible, very well informed, certainly knows the areas that we find challenging and is able to advise us very competently. So I would just like to thank Debbie for having a positive impact on the care that we give to patients.